Hey, it's Ryan Gassaway, founder of the Franchise Blueprint. If you've ever been on an introductory call or a discovery call, as some would call it, with a franchisor, you already know that it can feel like a pretty big moment. You're excited, maybe a little nervous, and anxious to see what the brand is all about. That first conversation with a franchisor is your opportunity to make a strong first impression, set the tone for the relationship, and ultimately determine if the franchise is the right fit for you. So in this video, I'm walking you through exactly how to approach that call with confidence, what to expect, what to say, and what not to say, and how to leave a lasting impression that positions you as a serious qualified candidate. Before we dive into the tactics, let's start with the mindset. The intro call is not a sales pitch. It's not a job interview. It's a mutual conversation, or at least it should be, a chance for both sides to simply learn a little bit more about each other. The franchisor is going to want to understand who you are, why you're interested in their brand, whether your goals, background, and personality align with their culture. And of course, you're evaluating the same thing in reverse. Do their values, systems, and leadership style align with what you're looking for in a business? At a high level, I don't want you going into this with a transactional mindset. Think of it as the start of a relationship. Your goal here is not to impress them with a perfect script or all of your career accolades. It's to show them that you're thoughtful, serious, and genuinely interested in building a long-term partnership. But before you even get on the phone or maybe a Zoom, preparation is everything. You don't need to know every detail about the brand yet. That's what the discovery process is for. But you should come to the table informed. Here's how to prepare effectively. First, do some light research. Spend 15 minutes on their website and social media. Understand what the brand does, who their target customer is, and what makes them different. Next, review your notes from our coaching sessions. If you're someone who's working with me, by this time, you already have your personal ownership model, which includes all of your goals, investment ranges, and other criteria. I suggest having that in front of you so that you can clearly communicate what you're looking for. Then, write down 2 to 3 meaningful questions. Don't overcomplicate it. Simple questions like, what does a typical day look like for one of your franchise owners? What kind of support do you provide in the first 6 months of operation? What characteristics have you seen in your most successful owners? These questions show that you're thinking like an owner, not a spectator. Now, let's talk about presence, the way that you show up for these calls. This is where most candidates either stand out or fall flat. Remember, the franchisor is looking for fit just as much as financial capability. So, start with being conversational. You don't need to sound like you're delivering a pitch. Relax, be yourself. You're just talking to another business professional. Next, communicate clearly and confidently. Share your background in a few concise sentences. Something like, I've spent the last 10 years in project management, and now I'm exploring business ownership for more flexibility and long-term growth. I'm really interested in learning how your model might fit those goals. Next, avoid leading with money questions. Yes, investment range and returns matter big time, but asking the franchisor how much can I make or what's the ROI 5 minutes in just sends the wrong signal. Those are great questions for later in the process once rapport and context have been established. And express curiosity. It's not commitment. You don't have to sound sold. You just have to sound engaged. Phrases like, I'm really intrigued by what you just said about X. Those types of things go a long way. Now, before wrapping this up, I want to touch on a few mistakes that can derail a call before it even gets going. First, sounding distracted or unprepared. Make sure that you take the call in a quiet space, camera on if possible, and treat it like a business meeting. Next, oversharing or getting off track. You don't need to tell your whole life story. Keep your answers focused and relevant. And then acting like you're interviewing them. This isn't, Shark Tank. It's a two-way conversation. The best candidates in this process balance curiosity with respect for the franchisor's process. And then being vague about your goals. Saying that I just want to make more money or something like that is too broad. Instead, say something like, I'm looking for a business that can eventually run semi-absentee while providing X income target. Those kinds of answers help the franchisor picture you as a strong strategic partner. Okay, finally, let's talk about ending the call. How you close this call matters just as much as how you start it. End with clarity and gratitude. Thank them for their time. Express appreciation for what you learned in the call. And then reconfirm next steps. Something like, I believe Ryan mentioned you'd be sending over the FDD or scheduling a follow-up call. Is that correct? And then follow their lead. This shows that you're organized, professional, and serious about the opportunity without being pushy. And after the call, make a few quick notes about your impressions. What stood out? What excited you? What didn't? That reflection will make future conversations much more productive. So to close this out, I think it's okay to recognize that first franchisor call can feel a little bit intimidating, but when you show up prepared, curious, and professional, it becomes an opportunity instead of an obstacle. So franchisors will notice when someone takes the process seriously, and that can directly impact your experience, your access to their leadership, and ultimately your success in finding the right fit. So if you'd like more guidance on how to prepare for your franchisor calls, or if you're just starting your own franchise exploration journey, I'd love to help. There's no cost for my services, and you can schedule a discovery call with me using the link in the description. Or you can visit franchisebp.com for more resources and insights. That's it for now. I've got many more videos like this that break down each step in the discovery process. So keep your eyes peeled for more. Take care.